I just completed the first 8 weeks on the carnivore diet, and on today's video, I'm going to go over the 8 biggest benefits I've received so far. I'm going to go over some of the challenges that I went through along the way. I'm going to talk about the mistakes that I made in the very beginning so that you don't make those same mistakes, and I'm going to give you some advice if you want to start this journey for yourself. So now, before we get started, I realize some of you have no idea what the carnivore diet is. Basically, it is a zero carbohydrate, meat only diet. Yep. Meat only. Fish, beef, bison, chicken, as long as it's meat, or eggs and water to drink, that's pretty much what this diet is all about. So let's talk about the 8 biggest benefits that I got so far on this diet. Number 1, and this is a biggie, increased energy. My energy is now through the roof. I'd usually crash and burn somewhere around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was pretty much done for the rest of the day. On this carnivore diet, I have energy to spare. It takes me all the way through the day and it's maintained. I don't have to take in caffeine in the afternoon to stay awake like I always used to. Now I have that energy for as long as I need it. Number 2, decreased inflammation in my body, more specifically in my legs, in my thighs, and around my knees. I have 2 arthritic knees. The doctor says he wants to replace them both. I don't want to go and do that, but they are very, very painful, or at least I should say they were very, very painful. I still have the pain, but the inflammation that was pressing on all those nerves and making it very, very uncomfortable is pretty much gone. So that's a very pleasant side effect of this carnivore diet. Now, the number 3 benefit that I noticed is my sleep has dramatically improved. I have an Oura ring that tracks my sleep, as well as the 8 sleep system that also tracks my sleep. And I wake up in the morning really refreshed, and I check the scores, and the scores also show why. I'm showing that I'm getting much deeper sleep, much longer sleep, much more restful, rejuvenating sleep these days. Prior to that, my scores were maybe in the fair zone. Now they're in the good to excellent zone every single morning. Number 4, the fog has lifted from my brain. I didn't realize how bad the brain fog was, but along with that crash and burn somewhere around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, my brain would just shut off. It was really difficult for me to be able to concentrate on anything after that time, so I usually would just kind of cut out of work early, go home, and vegetate. No energy and no brain power to do anything, so I might as well just vegetate. Now, along with that energy boost that I got, the brain is still firing all the way up until the time I go to sleep. Number 5, and I'm going to also say 6, because these kind of go together. My skin reacts to the sun much better. Now, for the past 10 or 15 years, I've noticed that I've been burning very, very easily when I get in the sun, and that burn turns into a very itchy, painful rash. Now, since I started the carnivore diet, I can spend all day in the sun with no suntan lotion on and not get burned and don't get that rash anymore. So again, I didn't realize that this was a side effect, but after doing a little bit of research, I find that a lot of people have a better reaction to the sun when they're on the carnivore diet. Number 7. I've noticed that my muscles and my body recovers much better after a strenuous day of working in the yard or after hitting it really hard at the gym. My muscles don't stay sore very long. They don't stay fatigued nearly as long, and I'm ready to go with just basically about a 20 to 30 minute rest. I feel like new and I can get back at it. Now, number 8 is a biggie, especially for those of you that want to lose weight. Yes, you do lose weight on the carnivore diet because you're not taking in any of those carbohydrates. You're taking in only fat and protein, which is the best way to lose weight in my opinion. Over the past 8 weeks, I lost 15 pounds. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but you got to remember, I didn't have a lot to lose. If I was in my heavier days when I was 40, 50 pounds more, yes, a lot more would have come off. But look, I'm a lot more trim these days, and yes, I was able to lose those 15 pounds over 8 weeks, even though I didn't have a lot to lose. So let's transition over to part 2 of this video, where I'm going to talk about the challenges that I came across, mainly the main challenges here. First and foremost, look, if you're not somebody who likes to prepare their food in advance and think of what you're going to be eating well in advance, you're going to have to get over that, because really you have to do a lot of food prep and a lot of meal planning while you're on here. You're not always going to be in a place where you can pick up a meal that is worthy of the carnivore diet. So you're going to have to go cook at home pack some food to take to the office. If you're fortunate enough to be working from home, that's going to be a whole lot easier. But if you're traveling or you're working at an office, you do need to plan that out well in advance. Now, honestly, in the very beginning, I absolutely hated planning out my meals. But look, it gets easier, and I'm actually to the point where I'm enjoying planning out exactly what I'm going to eat for the next couple days. Now, for those of you that absolutely refuse to do any meal prepping, or you're going to be out and running around and you don't have time to do the meal prep, or you're going to be going out to dinner with family and friends, you still have options. However, they are a lot more limited. So you're going to have to learn how to order your meals when you're ordering them. So you're going to have to tell the server that you're on a special diet, that you want just the meat, keep off all the crap, all the sauces that can contain sugars and glutens and things like that. You're just going to have to learn how to do that and kind of deal with your limited options on there, but it's not impossible. As a matter of fact, I look at it as kind of a game of what is the tastiest meal I can get based on the menu options that I'm giving whenever I go out to a restaurant. Now, another thing you're probably going to run across are leg cramps. This is very, very common from people that are going on the carnivore diet, and I believe it has to do with how much hydration you're getting in. Usually whenever I get the leg cramps, that pretty much tells me I'm not drinking enough water, okay? I always have a water bottle with me right now. I also add a little element in there. It has some electrolytes that keep my electrolytes up so I don't get those leg cramps. So your body is pretty much gonna tell you in a unexpected and painful way that you're not taking in enough water. So all you have to do is just go grab a water, chug it down, and the cramps should go away pretty quickly. At least that was my experience with it. Another thing that I've noticed just recently is I have a bad taste in my mouth when I wake up. Now, I remember this back when I was doing keto, and sometimes when you're in ketosis, you get this bad taste in your mouth. And for me, I notice it most when I wake up in the morning. I believe it has something to do with just the change in diet, the body reacting a little bit differently, and something to do with being actually in ketosis. I'm sure I can probably look it up, but I do remember this. So for those of you who have done keto before, you might remember that familiar taste in your mouth. If you don't like it, go brush your teeth, use some mouthwash a little bit more, and it'll go away. Now, this last challenge, I don't know if it's really a challenge, but I think it's something I brought on myself. I've noticed a lot of people ask lots of questions about this diet. And I guess, look, I'm recording videos. I'm telling the world about this carnivore diet. So I guess it kind of goes with the territory because a lot of people are going to be very, very curious. And look, they're concerned. They're wondering if you're doing the right thing. They're going to say it's not healthy. They're going to tell you all the wives' tales that they've heard about in the past that you should have carbs, all those different things. They don't mean any harm by it. They just are concerned about you. So you have to be a little bit prepared for all those questions and the naysayers that are going to come and try to talk you out of doing damage to yourself. So I think this is a perfect transition over to part 3 of this video where I'm going to talk about the mistakes, because I think a big mistake, not necessarily for me because it's something I chose to do, I wouldn't dissuade anybody from making this mistake, but if you're somebody who wants to keep to yourself and you don't want to have to answer all those questions, don't tell everybody like I did. Okay, or you may not want to tell anybody what it is that you're doing other than maybe your spouse and your immediate family, people that are going to be eating your meals with you. Those may be the only people that you want to tell, because once you get it out there, you're going to have a lot of people asking those questions. And again, you're going to have a lot of people giving you the wives' tale advice that you may not want to hear. They may not be as informed as you are about the carnivore diet, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of those naysayers. So if you don't like that, keep it to yourself. The second thing is I should have taken more measurements when I first got started. In other words, get a tape measure and measure all the muscles, or the trunk, the legs, the arms, the neck, everything like that. I did not do that. I wish I did. And along with that, I wish I would have taken before pictures when I first got started. I forgot to take my before pictures, so I took them at my 2-week mark. Okay, so I'll be showing those in an upcoming video. So maybe the journey's not going to look quite as impressive, but I would certainly tell you that if you're going to do this, if anything for yourself, so you can see the progress that you're making, do your measurements with a tape measure and take your pictures so you can show the before and after, because you will see some dramatic differences, and they may not even show up on the scale. So let's move to part 4 of this video, where I'm going to give you my advice, especially for those of you that are just now getting started in carnivore, or those of you that are considering doing carnivore. Okay, there is so much information available online. I want you to do your homework in advance. You got to understand the challenges that you're going to run against. You're going to have to understand what carnivore really is, the do's and don'ts. And there's not a lot of do's and don'ts. It's eat meat, don't eat carbs, okay, if you want to really take it down to the basics. But you need to be armed with the right knowledge. Don't go in with your, only one eye open. You want to have both eyes open, because you're going to run across some challenges and some difficulties, and maybe your body's going to react a little bit differently because you're doing something kind of drastically different from what you may be used to, doing 30, 40, 50 years of the old way of eating. This is something new, and you're going to run into those challenges. It's best to be armed with the information up front. Plus, look, you're going to have a lot of people, like I mentioned before, ask you a lot of questions. You're going to have a lot of family members and friends basically trying to tell you how unhealthy this is. By doing your homework, you're going to be able to have the ammunition to let them know that you are doing the right thing. You're going to be able to talk about the benefits that other people are getting from it, and it's going to help carry you through this entire time. Especially when you run into these challenges, you're going to be tempted to throw your hands up and walk away. These things will definitely help if you have the knowledge in advance. Okay, so I want you to really rely on the carnivore community that's online. There are hundreds of thousands of us that are ready, willing, and able to give you the answers that you are looking for. Also understand, this is a total change from the way you've eaten over the past few decades. It's going to take some dedication. It's going to take a stronger mindset. And what I want you to do is understand why you're doing this. Get your why in order so it carries you through those difficult days. Imagine yourself being the trim person and the healthy person and the pain-free person, or whatever it is that you're getting into this journey for. Imagine you are that person. And then when things get difficult, all you have to do is project forward and say, but there's a light at the end of this dark tunnel that you might be going through on that particular day. So I think it's really important you have a really strong mindset and your why of what exactly you're getting yourself into and why you're doing it and the results that you're looking for. And I think the last thing is, don't try to force this on anybody. I think that was maybe my problem in the very beginning, because I got so excited about all these changes that I got. I wanted to tell the world, and I wanted to force it on everybody. The reality is, let the results speak for themselves. You're not going to tell somebody that this is the diet they're going to be on until they see the changes in you. So you be the example. You jump in, you give it 4 or even better 8 weeks and get all these changes, and have people look at you and see the energy change and the body change and the attitude change, and you being possibly much happier, and they're going to start asking questions. Let them follow you because you are the example, rather than say, I feel great, you should do this. Okay, there's always going to be that resistance, because they're going to look at what it is you have to do to get the results you're getting, and they're going to say, I don't want to do that. But they're more likely to look at the results and say, what do I need to do to get the same results that you're getting? Now, where do we go from here? Well, my goal is to go maybe to 100 days now. Okay, I've hit that 4-week goal, the 8-week goal. Now I want to maybe take it up to 100 days, maybe make some modifications as I go. But as always, I will do these weekly updates as I continue on this journey. And when I discover some new things, I will let you know about it. So stay tuned. Hey, before we leave, do me a big favor, go down below this video and click the like button, leave a comment, ask a question, click the subscribe button. All of those things help this video get out to more people that might be interested in getting healthier through a different diet. I would really, really appreciate, please take 2 seconds and do that for me right now, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.